on that. So it looks like we've got our, well, I thought we had our next guest.
I'm so excited about this next guest.
Yeah, this particular guest, I am very excited to get him online. I think he's going to be serious. You know, all the way from
Awesome.
Newcastle. Yeah, man. Going to be serious.
Just to say that I met this brother at our Beautiful Sisters event, and I think the event was like last year. Good evening, good morning, brother Rico.
Hello, hello, how are you?
All
We're
right.
fine.
How are you?
Welcome to the
Brilliant.
Money Mob.
Thank you, thank you. I'm just trying to set up my phone. I'm doing this on the phone, not on the laptop. I thought I'd be able to do it on the laptop, but we're here now, we're here now.
All right.
Good. I was just saying that we met at our Beautiful Sisters event, and I think it feels like last year, but actually it was this year. Sister Caroline from Think Tank 720, and I met the brother, and he just shared with me what he does, what he's been doing, and I was totally inspired. I get very inspired as a travel lover. I get inspired by meeting anybody, anywhere. When I know we're there, oh yes, I want to get there too. So, brothers all the way in Newcastle, aren't you, beloved brother?
That's right, yeah. We call it Newcastle, it's actually Gateshead, but not many people know where Gateshead is. We just call it Newcastle to, you know, to keep it like, you know, relevant.
Okay.
Okay, lovely.
Good.
So lovely to have you on.
It's really lovely to have you on, Rico. I am telling you.
Pleasure.
So I mean, with the midst of everything that's now going on, I mean, and you know, the idea, you know, the reason, you know, we've been in lockdown for so long. I mean, you know, the first question I've got to ask you is, you know, I mean, how are you doing, you know, business-wise?
So it's quite a funny one, really, because the way we built what we have built is quite unusual. We had no funding. It's a people before profit organization, you know, like a charitable organization, but it has no funding and never has had any funding for core costs, you know, even the capital costs that we've put in. Over the past 10 years that we've been in the particular building we're in at the moment, we have put in around £1 million of our own hard-earned income from the week for the past 10 years. So we get our money at the weekend. You know, traditionally that's when our busiest period is, and then we will spend it during the week, and then we'll be skinned by the next weekend, and then make that money again. And that's been groundhog now for 10 years in this particular building, simply because we have a short-term lease. And the short-term lease means every 6 months we could literally be out on the streets with everything we have built. We have to dismantle it and find a new base and set up again if that's what we are able to do. So we've always been in that precarious position of you know, everything could stop anytime. So what's actually happened with this pandemic is that everyone has had to stop, not just us or you know, the ones that are in this unique position. Everyone has had to, you know, has had the rug pulled from under their feet, and they've had to think in ways that we've always been thinking about. We've always been thinking, what happens if tomorrow the landlord says, we'll give you 8 weeks to get out?
Right.
Nothing has really changed, to answer your question, in the sense that we're still building. I mean, we've completely revamped the place. When I say complete, I mean probably about 50%, to be honest. But the place is a complete mess at the moment. That's guaranteed. And we're building new equipment. We're trying to diversify our audience. So we want to bring in small children. Ordinarily, we start from age 5 upwards, because the ramps that we have are quite big and steep. You know, as skate parks, you know, tend to go, a lot of this stuff goes up to pro level. So we don't have a lot for tiny tots. And with this whole pandemic, we realized that people are going to be suffering not only with their mental and physical health, but also with their emotional health, with the family not being able to move around as they always have done. A lot of small children are going to be confused and also idle. So we've built a section, or we are still building a section, that is going to include tiny tots on balance bikes. They're the bikes without the pedals. They're scooters and roller blades and skateboards just as normal, but because our surfaces are now like, if you imagine sand dunes, you know, so they're quite curved surfaces now. Anyone is going to be able to use them. So that section should be completed in the next 4 to 5 weeks. Again, with absolutely no finance, no funding. We got the government bribe, you know, the 25k, but we would have made double that in the same period.
I understand.
So yeah, it's actually robbery because they've taken half of our money away from us.
I hear you.
But you know, Dynamix has been built on use what's in front of you and use it intelligently, and that's where we are. We're trying to be as clever as we can with what we have.
All right, now, Rico, before you go further, please let our viewers know exactly what Dynamix is all about.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, Dynamix is the name that we've been using for the past 10 years in the current location. But I started way before that on my own. Before I met my partner for 12 and a half years, Rosa, who's not here at the moment. She's in Canada on lockdown.
Wow.
She got trapped when she was visiting family. Rosa herself built an organization based on the fact that when we met, I was going through some injustice. As you can imagine, a dark-skinned person in a predominantly light-skinned industry, there was a lot of suspicion around me, and that was exploited by people who wanted to stop council buildings being used for community use in this way. So we had access to a council building in Newcastle, actually, which is literally just across the water from where we are now.
Right.
And it was a tiny, tiny little youth centre shed, 4,000 square feet. And I know some people might think that's quite big, but for skate parks, we take up a lot of space.
Yes.
A football pitch would actually be ideal for a skate park, you know. So we had a bit of a battle there, and I was made into a bit of a scapegoat. Oh, this guy, look at him, he must be a problem. And that went on for 3 years.
Wow.
So when I go there, through me, I used to be a break dancer.
Okay.
And Rosa was actually, she's European, and she was running an African association. She was the only European in that African association, and she happened to answer the phone when I phoned in, and said I wanted to learn African dance, and could she put me in touch with my people, blah, blah, blah. I was actually born in Africa, but never been involved in African dance or drumming or anything like that. And I thought I wanted to incorporate that into my breakdance. I'd spent enough time building these skate park things, not really my culture anyway, but if they don't want me, then I'm just going to, you know, focus on what I know, do my breakdancing, and make that more, you know, more about me being from where I'm from. I'm from Malawi. And I was quite proud of that. So I thought, I'm you know, just work on the things I can work on. And when Rosa heard the story about the skate park and the fact that we were, you know, being told we can't open this thing that we built with our own funds and, you know, without any kind of support, you know, we took a long time to get the materials together and all that. She hit the roof and she thought, we've got to do something, Rico. And I thought, I've been doing this activist stuff for all this time. Now this woman wants me to do it again, you know? And thank God she did, because without that belief, all my friends have walked away from me because, you know, we had a battle with the council. And they were all skaters and BMX riders. I was the only breakdancer, you know? So it wasn't really for me, you know? I was doing it for their cultures, right? And without that belief from Rosa, I think I would have been quite happy to walk away and just focus on me. So, you know, 12 and a half years later, we ended up in the situation where we are, where we're the biggest indoor skate park in the Northeast. You know, it's worked well, when you look at both of our backgrounds and what we believe needs to change on this planet, and how we serve humanity, how we serve the people around us, you know, not in a kind of Malcolm X or Martin Luther King way, but in a kind of what can I do way. It's been a total success. You know, we didn't think we'd be able to achieve what we have. It's just, yeah, it's I feel like a very, very, I was going to say lucky, but a very humble person, because I've achieved a lot that I shouldn't have been able to achieve with my partner and all the volunteers and the members of staff that we've employed. Over 100 people have been involved in the past 10 years on a serious basis. And then we've had the volunteers as well, who have been involved, you know, as and when they could. And we might have had maybe a couple of hundred volunteers in the past 10 years. And money we've all generated together is just an overwhelming success for me, because I don't even think about how much money we've pulled in from having nothing. Like literally, I had no parents, I had no inheritance, I had nothing being invested. I had no aunties and uncles to go to for Sunday dinner, never mind to go and you know, ask for some petrol money. And I danced in nightclubs to get my petrol money. You know, I entertained people who were doing the whatever shuffle was going around at the time, and thought they could you know, they could have a laugh. And I went there and did a head spin and did a back spin and did a backflip, and everyone thought that was amazing. I wasn't even like a proper breakdance. I wasn't a professional. It's had fun, but I was able to earn a little bit to buy petrol to build what we've done. So I think that also came from this. I came here when I was 10 from Malawi, and it came from this belief that you have to do what you can do, and you can't make excuses. There are reasons why you can't do things, maybe, but those reasons are put there to test you, and you have to accept your lot. You know, you have to accept what you're given and take that to the highest place you can take it. So I think that's a completely different attitude from what I've been taught by my parents.
So what is the Dynamix philosophy?
The philosophy is actually Ubuntu, believe it or not. Even though it's a predominantly kind of European-led industry or scenes, and there's several scenes within this action sports. But Ubuntu is actually something that resonates with every genre that we tackle. So we've got circus, we've got trampoline, we've got you know, obviously the skate park stuff. We've got concerts that we put on every now and then, and you know, reggae music every now and then. You know what I mean? Like all sorts of stuff will come into our place, and it's all around Ubuntu. It's all about contributionism. It's all about what our ancestors actually laid down before us and said, this works, use this. Yeah, don't try and reinvent something that people have done over thousands of years. You know, this circle. So when we break dance, we break dance in a circle. When we do theatre and forum theatre, which is Rosa's forte, we brought that into Dynamix. And the way we train our staff and our children as well, when we do our beginner sessions, is always in a circle. When you have that circle and every human being is accountable to themselves as well as to everyone, when you have everyone on the same kind of eye level, so sometimes we'll sit down in a circle if we're working with little ones, and they are equally important. I'm just a guide, I'm not the boss, I'm not a teacher, I'm a guide. I can learn as much from the child as they will learn from me or be facilitated by me. You know, when you have that, that's, to me, that's the essence of Ubuntu. You know, my humility comes from that.
I hear you. I hear you.
Can I just ask, you know, it sounds amazing what you've got there, and I love the principles and philosophy behind what you're doing, and how you actually started from just wanting to do something and wanting to serve and wanting to build that to meet the needs. You said a lot of your clients aren't really, it's not something for our community. How can you make it for our community? Because we know, especially during this lockdown period, we have a lot of Saturday academies, Saturday clubs, Saturday schools that are still operating from Zoom that could actually benefit from what you offer. So could you just take us through, like, what could our community benefit from coming to your Dynamix?
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, obviously, we have a very small African community up here in the Northeast, nothing like in the South. And I come to the South a lot and come to conferences a lot, and I see a lot of African people. And when I say African, I mean all Black people, I suppose you would say, but I don't like to use that term because I feel it kind of narrows it down a bit too much. We are all connected as a family, as a global African diaspora, and also continental Africans. We're all connected under this term to me as African. So when I see African people in the South, they don't understand how good they've really got it, being able to step off the tube and see other dark-skinned people. You know, when I step off at Brixton, I've trained a little bit at the BCA when I did Robin Walker's course there over a 6-week period. I used to get the mega bus down to come down to you guys and to be around family and to learn and to take in our history and our heritage and to learn about our history, you know, our story. That is so powerful. So up here in the Northeast, I'm one of the few people, and I'm a beginner. I'm an amateur. You know, I'm just starting on that journey in terms of our heritage, our history, our story. Yeah. But I'm one of the key people up here who's talking about this stuff, and I'm building a library. So this is the badge for the library, the Timbuktu African Heritage Library and Kitchen. And I'm able to do that with very, very small amount of knowledge, you know, as into our heritage and our history and our past. And I'm still learning from people like Akala and Robin Walker and all these amazing people I've met, you know, Dino Kai and you know, I can't even name Nana, people like Nana from Access UK and all these people. I can't even name all the sisters as well that I've come in contact with who have just blown my mind. So in terms of what I do up here, I can only reflect what I'm getting from them. And I'm getting from other sources as well, like YouTube and stuff like that. I'm constantly on it, trying to do what I can to bring that offer to them. So what Dynamix, to answer your question in a very long-winded way, what Dynamix offers our community up here is home. You know, like this is a home. This is my home, and my home is your home, as in Ubuntu. So I've just had a guy who's just started here today volunteering, and he's from Tanzania. And I haven't got the money to pay him right now, but I'm going to find the money somewhere to give him some gainful employment. Because we have, not only have we got our heritage and our connections in terms of being from East Africa. I mean, there are some of my colleagues are from West Africa. Not only do we have the continental connection, but this guy is a thinker. And this is the biggest thing I wanted to get across in this interview, I suppose, which is what I am doing with my life, not just with Dynamix and with Timbuktu, the library and kitchen, is I need to work with people who are, I suppose in a way, committed like me to our heritage and our people. I need to work with people who will sleep on the floor just to go to a conference like I have done. You know, I'll sleep in my car. I sleep in my car a lot, actually. I need to work with those people in order to be able to bring this stuff together so that people in isolated communities, like in the Northeast, which isn't that isolated, or Scotland, or on some island, or Isle of Wight, or something like that, can actually feel that heritage coming through. So if the library is launched this year, or whether it's next year, and it becomes a franchise, we'll have people going into our home, as in Dynamix is our home. We'll have people going into our home and sitting there and being surrounded by African culture and heritage, and being able to pick from the shelves book after book, and so many different languages as well, about everything to do with our history and heritage. Not about slavery or colonialism, because that's not our history or heritage. That's their history. History is what you have done, what your people have done, not what people have done unto you. So if we can get that message out and say, look, this is actually what Dynamix is about. This is what DSOL, which is the Dynamic School of Life, is about. It's about re-education. It's about remembering who we are as you know, ancient people, because we are ancient people. We come from millions of years of development. We built the pyramids, we built Great Zimbabwe, we built the stone circles in South Africa. We are the original engineers. So how can we get that across? What I've done with the skate park and the circus and all the bits and pieces, the activities we do and all that, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's what I was doing when I was on my break time, you know, my tea break. Look at it, I haven't even started to work. The work really comes from Timbuktu here. You know, when our people find out that Timbuktu isn't a mythical place, that's what I can offer. So you can come and do some activities here, but if you ever have a conversation with me, it's going to be like this. It's going to be like, we connect with that history and how, what do you know? How can we trade knowledge? You know, like a Carla trades a lot of knowledge, you know, with people all around the world, and then he passes it on to people like us, and then we can have these debates and we can correct each other, and that's really where I'm on fire. You know, that's when I'm alive. So everything I do around that. The activities we offer that offer an empowerment vehicle. So, for instance, if you're a skateboarder, you're not doing it because you want to be, although it is in the Olympics now, but most skateboarders are not doing it ever to be in the Olympics or to be on TV. They're doing it because they love it, right? Breakdancers generally, yes, you've got, you know, Red Bull BC1, which completely pimped our industries. You know, you've got like, we also have built a motocross track at the back, for instance. And with the motocross, I'm thinking of people like James Stewart. People haven't heard about the dark-skinned rider who's the greatest rider of all time, called James Stewart. You know, that's something for people to be proud of. So I could take you through every activity and find a hero or a hero that I want to tell you about. You know, because none of the activities matter to me as much as the people behind, the people who tell us about our ancestry, who tell us about our story, who tell us about Ubuntu, and who tell us about our will to not only survive, but to overcome the circumstances that we face. You know, the racism or the prejudice or the whatever it is-ism, you know, like our people are like the leaders in terms of, you know, being able to overcome this thing that all humans feel. You know, I am not good enough. You know, every human feels that, but our people are at the forefront of saying, look at what we did anyway.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So look,
absolutely. Wow.
Just as we're now coming down to the other side of our interview, what are your short-term plans for the future?
Short-term plans?
Yes.
Yeah. So we want to reopen next month when this when this government that shouldn't be in power actually because of the pandemic that has exposed them for what they are, finally allows leisure, which is the most important thing when people are falling ill. Yeah, health and leisure. They finally allowed that to happen, and apparently it's going to be on the 4th of July, a date that they've picked out of thin air. I can't tell you enough how angry I am to, you know, to what they've done to the world. Never mind, you know, like, sorry, what they've done to Britain. Never mind what they've done to the world in terms of my family around the world who have got no income and they have no support coming from the state because the state is complicit in this big problem. You know, in telling people to lock down as if they're a computer that they can go on low power mode. You know, when they need to go to the market to sell their tomatoes every day in order to put food in their bellies. You know, it's absolutely sickening what is going on. So I can't wait to open up on the 4th of July and allow my customer back into the building to be able to use the new equipment that we've been working all hours to build new equipment, to change up a gear, to bring in the small kids, you know, to show people that we're going to unite the family around what we're building. No matter what the hurdles are, no matter how much they take away from us, we're going to bring people together. So yeah, the plan is bring people together, open 4th of July, and just keep going and keep bringing the focus back to Timbuktu, library and kitchen, Ubuntu.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, just I wanted to ask you as well. As someone who runs a business or a CIC, what would be the 3 tips that you could give in regards to starting a CIC or starting a business?
Okay. So one of the biggest problems I come across, and I've invited a lot of people to become a CIC. A lot of people I don't even meet face to face. The first big problem I see is that people will do it anyway. Now that's a problem because you're putting your whole livelihood at stake because you want to do this idea, whatever it is, whether you're selling widgets, making widgets and selling them, or whether you're selling tomatoes, or whether you're running a skate park. It's the same thing. It's all about cash flow. It's all about your business plan and blah, 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 or whatever your plan is. It doesn't have to be a business plan. It could just be written on the back of a fag packet. The first problem is you're going to do it anyway. So why are you doing it as a capitalist business? Don't you realize that capitalism actually destroyed our societies? Not just ours, as in the African Holocaust, but humanity itself has been completely enslaved by capitalism. So why would you want to add to that system? Now, it might seem like an attack to all the people that are running private enterprise and all that. It's not. It's never too late to turn a private enterprise into a social enterprise. And I don't mean give things away, because the people always say, not for profit, I can't make profit. That you need to learn business if you think that way. And I've met millionaires that think that way. Not for profit means I can't make profit. No, well, Grameen Bank turns over 8.5 billion or something like that. They're a not-for-profit. So what we call it is a people before profit. All right. So Dynamix is a people before profit organization. We put people first and we make a lot of profit or we wouldn't be here. Okay, so turn every business into a people before profit, and let's really get to work. So that would be the first part of your question, and I think I've probably strayed a little bit off the rest. Could you remind me of what the rest of the question was?
Oh, I was just saying. I mean, in fact, I think you've actually answered the question in regards to the tips, 3 tips that you would say in regards to starting a CIC.
Okay. Yeah. So the misconceptions is let's get rid of the misconceptions and let's actually do business. Because if you're serious about business, you will know that not-for-profit is the future of all business, or people before profit. Let's call it not-for-profit. Let's not call it not-for-profit because that confuses things. People before profit is the future. And even the Amazons and these people are starting to become more and more about social contracts. More and more about the communities that they build. Well, that's Ubuntu. We're building communities. So with your business, whether you're selling suits in the high street or whether you're selling tomatoes in the market, make it people before profit. Create yourself a community interest company, and make sure that you are giving value back to our people first and foremost. There's no shame in that. There's no prejudice in putting your people first like other cultures do. So we put our people first. How do you contribute back to our people and then move outwards from that?
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, right, as I said, we're now coming to the end. Mr. Barbie, do you have a question you want to ask?
So give me an example of a day at your park, please. I want you to really promote your park because people are coming out of lockdown, and where better to go than to support somebody like yourself, basically. So please promote yourself.
In terms of, it's easier for me to give you an example of a day for a customer coming to the place.
A customer, that's what I meant. Sorry, yeah.
Because my day is just so random.
No, not yours, a customer.
So they would arrive here and maybe let's say it's a beginner's session and they haven't been here before. They literally look at the building and think that's a big building. They'll come in through the doors and they'll think it's twice as big as what it looks like on the outside. So we've got that kind of, illusion of grandeur when they come in, and they're just like, some kids can be a bit perturbed by that. And they're just like, whoa, what am I going to do in this? But they're a bit, affected by that. And then some people are just so can't wait to get in there and get started. So the first thing you've got to do is to sign in, and you've got to obviously sign your consent forms because some of these things can be potentially dangerous. So, you know, we need to be able to look after you. We need to know if you've got medical history, if you've broken any bones, that could be a problem, that kind of thing, you know. And also you need a helmet. So if you're doing sports in our place, you might need a helmet. And we've got hire helmets here. We've also got a little shop where we can sell you your own helmet or a skateboard or whatever it is you need. You can hire scooters, skateboards, bikes. We are going to have other things in the future, but as you know, we are an unfunded project. A lot of our equipment could be improved. So, you know, it's a little bit old and we want to update it with new stuff. We also want to bring in mountain bikes. You know, we've got a very big building, very big equipment as well. So mountain bikes, you know, can happily go around the place, but we can't afford to buy decent mountain bikes at the moment. So that's the next stage. So yeah, you'd pick out, you know, what you want to do. Either you or your children would go into the park, and the spectators would go upstairs into the biggest spectator area of any skate park in the UK, and also one of the tallest ones. So, you know, you've got a viewing area which is right at the top of our building, which is quite nice to sit up there away from the kids and just look at everything. You can see every part of the skate park from there. And you can also get coffee, you can get pizzas, you can get, you know, a burger and chips and all that kind of stuff. We also have a market, a healthy food market. So from time to time, we'll have lots of vegetables and fruit. And if you can't afford it, you can put a donation of whatever it is into the donation tub and take what you want. And literally, people will take apples and bananas and stuff and walk out the building, and it's absolutely fine with us as long as they're getting their, you know, their healthy nutrition. So the other thing we offer is water. So a lot of skate parks, you have to pay. If you don't have money, you can quite happily come round to the sink and fill up your water bottle, and we're happy with that. So it's a very supportive environment, I suppose. We want people to stay hydrated. We don't want them to be, you know, overheating and then losing control or losing focus, which adds to accidents. So there's a lot of things like that I could tell you about. I don't know if maybe I've overloaded you with too much there, but
no, that's fine. So
don't forget you have an outside area as well, don't you?
We do, yeah. So at the moment, it's you know, we have an outside area where you can sit and get some fresh air. But we used to have a motocross track and 4x4 and pod track as well. So 4x4 cars. We've got a couple of cars at the moment that we could take you around the site. But at the moment, that's not in full flow like it used to be several years ago because of the problems we've had in trying to maintain, you know, occupation of the site. We thought it was a bit of a distraction to have the indoors and the outdoors running at the same time.
Okay.
We thought to do both. So unfortunately, that is on hold at the moment. We can still take you for a free tour and show you the jungle, but it's mainly indoors now.
all right, fine.
Okay, and how can people get hold of you and what's your details and everything?
So we're very easy to find on Facebook. I appreciate not everyone's on Facebook. Our website is dynamiccic.org, or Dynamic Skate Park is pointed to our website. So if you put Dynamic Skate Park in your search, you'll find us that way. I don't have business cards, as you probably know. When I go to conferences and stuff, I just mention the word, and I hope that people can remember and find us that way. Or you can have my private number, which is actually a public number, and we can WhatsApp. And I'm available pretty much, 7 days a week.
Fantastic.
Right.
All right, so we're now coming really to the last question, and the last question is the money mob question, and this is Rico. The money mob question is: if you were given one wish in regards to the Black community, what would that one wish be?
That's a very, very difficult question.
I understand.
Thank you for that question, because I think it helps us all focus a bit better, because I think we are trying to do so much with so little, all of us, all the time. And sometimes it's good to have that kind of cutting question right there, which is, what would you put it all into? It's so easy to say unity, but what does that mean?
Exactly.
To me is that we rise above the challenges that others pose us. And, you know, we see ourselves as the answer. So whenever I connect with other dark-skinned people, and I like to use this term dark-skinned and African, whenever I connect with dark-skinned people, I try to think they're an extension of me and I'm an extension of them. If we can just behave a bit more like that and look after our own household first, so our African family, the global African family first, not this African American versus British versus continental African. We are one. Haiti is an African country, believe it or not. You know, let's kind of pull that together. So my one wish is that that unity becomes this Ubuntu spirit in all of us, and that recaptures all of us. Every one of us is under Ubuntu anyway. But that we take that responsibility and that we connect truly every time we connect through Ubuntu.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
So look, Rico, it has been a pleasure and a privilege, and as I said, hopefully we'll get a chance to actually come down there and sample, you know, what you have. So again, you know, thank you so much. Viewers, please, you know, when you see this this interview on YouTube, make sure you put a thumbs up, you share, and you subscribe. As I said, I think this is. I thought it was going to be a fantastic interview, and it was. So again, Rico, thank you. So
thank you so. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, and keep doing what you're doing, guys. You know, you are creating a lot of unity, and I was so excited to be part of this, and I hope I did well.